Welcome back to another episode of Getting Lippy. I'm Emma Coney Bear, and this is the home of everything entertainment and showbiz news, brought to you by Slingo. And joining me on the show today, reality queen, Love Island season 4, was it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Megan Barton-Hanson and our journo. We're in a very pizzazz shirt. I love it very much.
Emma.
Showbiz
Especially
reporter. Thank you, Simon Grass. How are we doing today?
I'm really good, really excited to be here, being with you, Emma and Megan. It's lovely to be here.
I'm excited. It'll be good.
Good. Join the fun on Slingo, your official site for Slingo games. Enjoy a £50 welcome bonus and get access to over 6,000 vibrant casino games. Gamble responsibly and take advantage of Slingo's safer gambling tools. Age 25 and over. Be gamble aware. For more information, visit begambleaware.org. I love the fact that the summer has finally arrived. For the viewers that watch this later on, it's gone. It's now winter time. But while we're filming this, it is the summertime and we're in our summer outfits, right? Like 2 days out the whole year. Yeah, right.
We could be anywhere, couldn't we? The neon and the palms, we could be anywhere.
Living our best life, just coming out Love Island and stuff like that. Oh my God. I can't believe that it was the 4th season. And also, I can't believe that it almost feels like you weren't even on it. Like it's been such a time, and so many faces have gone onto Love Island and come off of Love Island. It's almost like you stand yourself as a celebrity without that sort of status there, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Oh, that's so cute. I've always hoped to break the mold and be more than just an islander, and I think everyone does, and I don't know why we do, because we all love the experience of Love Island, but equally we don't want to just be plastered as ex-islander for the rest of our career. You want to branch out and do things that you're really passionate about. So that means a lot.
Yeah, of course, definitely, because you have branched out. I think around season 3, season 4, season 5 was when it was real peak of Love Island contestants, and off the back of that, you've kind of paved your way. I know, Olivia Atwood, Alan Collard, these sort of characters, Kem Catine, what's his surname?
Kem,
it even Chris, that's now a BBC sports presenter for Horse Racing.
Chris Hughes.
You've kind of paved your way, which is good. So now let's dive into Love Island, though.
Yes.
Have you been watching this season?
I have, and I've absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And I went through a phase of being I don't know how you guys felt, but I was it's so bland. It's the same thing over and over again. Everyone knows the big deals are going to get when they come out, so everyone's a bit scared to put a foot wrong or be a little bit controversial or go for what they want. But this year, I think with Joey Essex, who knows the whole reality scene, he's almost like a producer, but in there.
Yeah, so he was manipulating this.
Well,
I think,
Love Island. I agree. I've watched it for the first time in about 4 or 5 years. I watched your series, Megan, but I haven't watched it for a long time, and I thought I'll give it a go. Is that it got to that? Has Love Island had its day? Has it or hasn't it? It hasn't, because it was addictive. It was good, but then putting Joey into it, I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? But the thing is, what I wanted to, how I feel is does Love Island need a Joey Essex in it to keep it alive?
I feel it did get a little bit stagnant. Maybe that's my view, but I just felt everyone was mimicking the previous year. There'd be Olivia Atwood or a Maura or me, for example, a man-eater vibe, and then it's then you get the really romantic couples that are in it from day
There's
one,
always that
Danny
one,
and Jack.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice to actually switch it up a bit, have someone who's a little bit controversial. He doesn't care.
I thought it was great.
Got the clout already.
I
thought it was great. I thought it was a little shit stirrer, and I loved it.
I was here for it.
I was too.
Yeah.
I was like, drama.
He's got tough legs, hasn't he? That's for sure.
No,
he's tough.
I think he is great.
Yeah.
But your time in Love Island, now, how did you apply for it? Did you get scouted for it? How did this all come about?
Yeah, so I got scouted for it the year prior, actually, when Olivia and Chris Hughes was on it. And they was like, pack your bag. And I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm scared, I'm nervous. I'm not really the most like extrovert person. So it was never something that I really wanted to like delve into and dive into, especially because my past had been stripping and in the glamour industry. So I knew there was going to be a bit of, I don't know, stigma attached to that. So I was a bit hesitant. I was like, I'm making good money. Do I really need to go and throw everything out into the public and have people like assess everything about me, from my looks to my weight to who I'm dating? And I was a bit hesitant. And then it happened the next year, and I was like, okay, the first year I think they wanted me for Casa and More, and then this year they was like, we're going to put you in the first week. I was like, okay, just go for it. I was like, I might last a week.
How did you mentally compose yourself? Like you said, your past in terms of stripping, like, were you a bit like, this is who I am, or did you want to keep it quiet when you went into the villa? Like, how did you want to like project yourself?
It was so mixed, because I was only, when I look back, I was a baby. I just turned 24. So I didn't really know. And obviously having producers, I had OnlyFans before I went into the show. And then it was like the day before, and they was like, we suggest you delete that platform because it's not really family friendly. So I was like, okay, so my view was, I'm going to own what I've done.
Yeah.
In my head, I didn't think there was anything wrong with being a stripper, a dancer, whatever.
No way.
And I was going to own that. But then when you get told that literally maybe 12 hours, 10 hours before you go in, it's like, maybe I am doing something wrong.
Do you feel like
Should
it's
I
quite
hide
harsh
it?
sometimes when they put you in that sort of category? Like, you know, having news articles which might say like sex worker, where you go like, dude, I've got more class than that. Like, did you feel pissed off when you saw? Like,
not pissed off. I think it really opened my eyes to how, not backwards, but how behind we kind of are as a society.
Yeah.
I feel like in other like European countries, we're so like ahead and we speak about sex freely, but when it comes to the UK, we're so prudish and weird. It's like the whole show is based around hot people walking around in bikinis and hooking up with each other.
And let's not
And
forget
God
the first
forbid-
couple of seasons where we had sex on TV. And I remember, was it Emma or something? And she was quite literally, they were all having sex in a line, and she did the whole throwing the like covers off and, flicking her hair back. And you're just like, you've got like beds either side, and she's full-blown straddling him, like swinging the hair. I mean, I loved how real it was back then in season 2, but like how much it's changed. But that I agree, you know,
But
we do things like that, but then
But if
the
you're in a
media's
bed
so against
attracted
it.
to somebody and in Love Island, you're going to shag, aren't you? Sorry, I'm allowed to say that, aren't I? But you are. I mean, we're human beings. You've met somebody you're attracted to. But you're right, Megan. We are very prude about sex in the UK, and I love your story because you are quite open about sex, and I think that is good. That's a good thing. But it is like, you talk to Islanders that are coming out the show now, because I've done a few interviews. It's like, well, what goes on behind the sheets? Oh, I couldn't really say. I can't tell you. Nothing.
Do you think
That's
sex does
bollocks.
happen?
Of course it does.
It does.
Yeah.
Do you think they do it in like? Do they do it in places where there's no cameras and stuff like that?
No, because it's all monitored. So you're not allowed to go to a bathroom with another Islander ever, because that's obviously where stuff could happen. So it's all monitored.
So is it quite literally all under the covers? Oh my God, I bet there's loads of noises at night time. Like,
Oh, I would have to wear my earplugs.
I couldn't do. I wouldn't have been able to.
But the thing is, it's like an unwritten rule that if you don't admit it, they can't air it. So you could be doing the most. Like, we could have had the most like aggressive vocal sex ever. As long as we both go into the beach hut the next day and say nothing happened, they can't air it.
Oh my God.
But I was so dumb and young and naive. I was like, oh, well, you've got. I was like, yeah, obviously stuff happened. So then it looked like I was the first one to do it. But trust me, some of the most innocent couples out there beat me to it, but they just kept their story straight.
Oh,
I was
pray
so
tell, pray tell,
you
pray
know,
tell.
you know what? Like, I did think this. I was like, if I really, really fancied somebody, and you're doing how many weeks? 6 to 8 weeks in a
8
bed next to,
weeks.
mate, no way. Like no.
And
You would be in pain. Like, girls get blue balls as well. You know, you would.
Do they?
You would be like, oh my God, I can't fucking do it. Yeah, you would have to sort yourself out.
But I'm very stubborn. I wanted to prove a point because I'd come from that background
Yeah.
of being like glamour model, stripper, whatever. I was like, definitely don't need to have sex. I'm in here, mate. I thought, because I'm so quiet, I'll be in there for like a week or two, I'll be out. No need to do it. When I was in there for 8 weeks, like you guys say, it is hard, especially if you fancy someone. And I'm like, no, Meg, don't. You've got all the time in the world when you're out, but like, and then you hear other people like, why am I missing out? Maybe I'll
yeah, it's
almost so like... you did, Megan. You did, basically.
It's almost like that.
I shouldn't have admitted it.
It's almost like that, you know, when you're younger and you have that pressure of like first time having sex with somebody and all your friends having it and you've got a boyfriend, you're just like, oh, well, fuck it, why not? Did you find like in terms of like building relationships, you know, you're forced into a situation and there's guys there. Like, did you feel the connection straight away, or did you think sometimes, you know how sometimes relationships can be like slow burners, some can be like electric? Do you feel because it's in a forced situation it was easier to get a connection straight away, or did you have to force any sort of connections to be like, oh, I'm just going to figure this out?
I wouldn't say force, but it's like if you've ever worked in like an office environment or like a closed environment, you wouldn't necessarily fancy this person, but where you're with them every single day, you're like, I like the way he walks. I like the way he carries himself. And you start really like vibing with someone that, for me, if you told me before I stepped foot in there, the guy you're going to get with and fall in love with is going to be 21, I would have said absolutely
no
not.
way.
I bet my life savings on it. I'm not going to fall in love with a 21-year-old. I came out with a younger guy. I was like, oh my God, I'm so in love.
It was Wes, wasn't it? Wes, yeah. I mean,
Wes was hot.
Look how.
But you weren't originally. You weren't originally with Wes, were you? You stole him, didn't you?
Yeah, I stole it. I was with Vial, and he on paper was my age. He looked beautiful, but there was no conversation.
Yeah.
You know what? I had this.
Go on, Emma.
You can have somebody on paper which is like ticks all the boxes, but if you don't have that sort of
connection,
like, you just go like, oh, why? I beg thee, why can't you? But yeah, completely agree with you with that. And also, you said something about how they walk and how they carry themselves. Is that an ick for you? Like, oh my God, that's so mad.
Yeah, I feel like I hate when people have big ick lists, because I think I must be checking so many boxes of these ick lists. I'm just a walking ick. I feel I'm so cringy. I don't really like care what trends say. I just do my own thing. So I try not to have an ick list myself, but there is things about, especially on a show like that. For me, it was just getting out of the industry I was in, pushing myself out my comfort zone, growing in confidence, and just seeing what happened. But you could really tell the people that were there just for like a motive of getting famous, and that's just like,
can you really see through people?
Yeah.
So we was discussing about Love Island this year, and Kem and Nicole. No, yeah, it's Kieran and Nicole. I mean, they hit it off from day dot, you know, two Welshies, like they were in love and stuff, but they were very vocal in like their love for one another, like, oh, because I love you and I love you. And I mean, she's hilarious. You know, who's Emma? I love that, by the way, to that.
Emma.
It was iconic. I know, it was brilliant. So, but if you was in the villa now with the people that was there in this season and you had somebody like those two, would you see through that and be like, oh, are you playing it because you're trying to force it on the public?
Yeah, like we had a little chat just off camera, and I was saying, for me, when you're like constantly confirming how much in love you are you trying to prove it to yourselves or to the audience? I just feel like if you're in love, just show that with your actions.
I just think they're very humble, very nice, normal people, yet you get somebody like Grace from Manchester who's got her own business, she's got a beautiful home, she's quite savvy, and I think, I'm not saying Grace is a game player, but you can't compare Grace to Nicole and Kieran. They're very different people, and I think there probably are game players in Love Island. There probably are. But I think with Nicole and Kieran, they are just very, very, especially Nicole, homely, very normal people that have gone into Love Island to find love. And whatever comes with it is a bonus for Nicole and Kieran. That's the way I see it. Do you both? What do you? That's how I see it.
Yeah, I do think that they're sort of like genuine and stuff like that. But I get your point when I'm all just show me through actions rather than words. Like you don't. It's like somebody that plasters photos of, oh, I love my boyfriend all over Instagram. You're just like, who are you saying it to? Like,
but they were the people's favourites, but they didn't win.
No. Well, I think because I think it was more Nicole and her personality. I think she was great in that sort of way. Do you feel as though that things have changed quite a bit from this series to like the series that you were on? Were you allowed smoking then?
We could smoke. But outside.
I
like,
was
off
outside,
camera,
yeah.
so it wasn't when like everyone was gossiping around the fire pit. I feel like they were the good old days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it has changed.
it
Were they
was.
your
More-
favourite series?
Yeah.
With
The early ones.
Oh
I
God,
love the earlier
what was he
ones.
called? Clark? No, what's his first name? He was on Towie.
Oh, John.
John.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, John Clark.
Clark.
Oh,
I said
yeah.
Clark. I was like Clark. I can't remember.
Yeah, you're right. First
yeah,
one.
it was.
First one.
Yeah, it was. That was
Lovely
that
guy.
was
He's a
brilliant.
good-looking boy. Nice guy.
He's funny. Yeah. Do you feel like things are like completely different? You know, to when your season was to.
Not really. I feel like after my series, then it was like Molly Mays and like maybe a few after. Then it was still good, and then I think a few series went by and it was just very like cardboard cutout-ish of like the previous contestants and like mirroring their whole story. And I think people were very like sitting on the fence, not trying to make too many moves
Because they've seen how people like yourself has like sort of like paved the way into like other opportunities, and people are far too scared.
Well, I mean,
Even it's scared to have arguments. I think people have found.
I feel like I'd love to say me, but I feel more Molly May. She's done so much with that platform that people are like scared to put a foot wrong because they want that kind of success after, which I would want the same. But equally, you're not, as a viewer, you're not getting the same kind of like controversial like experience. Whereas this one with Joey Essex, I think we've taken it back to the old school vibes.
I do like
and there's
it.
like so much drama. I've loved this one.
I love a bit of drama. I really do.
That is, yeah.
Moving on to, you did Love Island Games. Now I didn't watch that, so just give us like a rundown of what it actually included. Was it still the same setup? Did you have to find love at the end of it, or was it just purely like challenges, like MTV The Challenge mixed with Love Island?
It was a bit of both. So I think the whole concept was to still kind of find a connection with someone.
Yeah.
But then as we got deeper and we started like playing the games all the time, you'd feel like the different nationalities, they would group together. So I was coupled up with an American girl, and she wouldn't care about like me and my UK guys. Like we had Toby from the UK. Who else we have? Eyal. And she was just like backing her team. I was like, babe, you're on my team. You're on like half UK team as well. Let's try and like fight for
But
my
she's
people.
US. What do you expect? It's like we are a nation that we come together
So
and we
it
must win.
Yeah, it was different. It wasn't purely about you and your partnership trying to make it to the end. It's more people looking out for their friends, and we've all come off reality before. So I think they had alliances with people they've done shows with before.
Oh,
and
man.
stuff.
Was there, because I'm totally obsessed with Vanderpump Rules at the moment. So I saw that Ariana, is she the host of the US one? Do you know?
She came in a few times. Yeah, I don't think she hosts the whole thing. Maya's still the host, but she'll do like.
So she must be the host of the US one. I mean, I'm obsessed with her. I think she's great and she's stunning. And I'm just like, oh, wow. She is like Maya Jama. What's Maya Jama like?
Stunning.
She
Obsessed
is.
with her.
Good, isn't
She is.
She works for the show, doesn't she? She's hip. She's with it. Pretty. She relates. I think she
And
relates.
I feel like she's invested in the storyline.
Yeah.
Like she's so into the different
That's
couples.
what I
Yes,
love.
yes.
I think she is just real. I remember her when she was on Rinse FM, and yeah, it's just the same sort of like personality,
Yeah.
like out there, whatever. But you know, she's blossomed.
I think
and
it's
she's
been a-
stunning now.
It's been a really, really big show this season. I think they've got it back. I think it did get a little bit. There was something not dated with it, but I think they brought it back.
What with Maya as the
with
host?
Maya,
Yeah, because
and-
she's real and she gets involved,
Yeah.
and she even has like shares a few tears and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think
and Jay,
she loves love.
and Joey as well, and I think they've had some quite strong men and women in the show that have kept it alive.
So here's a question for both of you. So this year we had Joey Essex, and he came on as like the celebrity like bombshell at the very beginning. If they was to do it next year and they was to do it as a female, who do you think would do it?
Megan. do you think you could do it? Do you think you could do that? What he's done as a female?
Oh no, I'm so polite in person. I'm a shit talker behind closed doors. I'm like, I think that, but he has got balls. I could not be doing what he's
to
doing.
manipulate every sort of situation. It was.
I don't know. If you're asking who you think could do it, I honestly don't know. You know.
No, I wouldn't know either, because you
do?
wouldn't really go down the Towie line, because you've done Joey from Towie, so you would go down like another sort of reality, which is big. But who's at the same sort of level as like?
I feel like a Geordie Shore.
Geordie Shore,
Imagine they would create chaos.
Chloe Ferry.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Chloe would be
that's
good.
so
Or
good.
Scotty T. He's bonkers. Now
Is he still
Yeah,
it was in
he's-
the reunion.
Yeah, he's still doing something. But I mean, somebody of that energy and that being that outspoken, Chloe would be great, wouldn't she?
Yeah,
she would
that's what
actually.
Chloe
Really?
Ferry,
Yeah,
she would be.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because she would. Yeah, I used to love her on Geordie
Don't
Shore.
take prisoners.
Such a shame that stopped. I know,
Yeah.
right? There was obviously another beach reality show that you did, Celebrity X on the Beach. You just love these hot places. Any opportunity to bugger off somewhere warm, you're just like, I'm
I'm
going.
like, pay me for a holiday.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Whose ex were you? And
Oh, so this was so awkward. So I hooked up with this girl in Manchester, and literally we must have had like a kiss in passing. I was drunk, I don't really remember. But imagine all these boys had their exes coming in on X on the Beach. And I was like, that's so rude. Like, to them, it was like a whole romance.
Yeah.
And to the guys, it was just like a random hookup in a club. So I've penalised them for that and said, how dare you? You don't remember them. That was a whole relationship to him. It's happened to me with a girl. I was waiting for the guy to step forward, be like, who else has kissed her? I recognise her. I know we've chatted, but I couldn't remember kissing her.
Wow.
None of
But
the boys stepped forward.
surely-
I was like, oh, she must be mine
oh,
then. I'm actually
and I
gonna
bet the
have
guys
to
were
It's
just
real.
like, oh my
Bad.
God.
How do you feel about it though? Was it a bit like?
It was awkward, but I'm sure we didn't kiss. Maybe she just told the producers that to get on. I don't
Well,
know.
this is what. Okay, so there was a time where actually I had a there was discussion that I was going to go on there, and they do investigate. They want to know all of your exes, and I'm just like, I'm not going to tell you all my exes. But then it was just like, so how did they find that person? Like somebody would have said something, or they would have put something like, anybody dated or had any flings or associations with Megan, let us know, and like put out like this big like thing or something.
But that's why I was so confused, because really, in like real, I wouldn't class her as an ex. Like,
Yeah.
mate, you don't count someone as you
No.
just hooked up with in a club.
No, I
as an
know,
ex.
but it's
So
literally
that's why I was
like
like stuttering. I was like, do I step forward? Do I not? I was like, no, sticky.
It's actually a couple of times it happened in Love Island in the season. They're just like, I think I know you. Like, why do I know you? And
They
then
did
obviously,
a lot of that.
and
yeah.
then, of course, there's like Joey. You know, he's been around the block a bit, and you know,
Yeah.
he's probably dreading any girl that comes in next. Like, have I snogged you? Like, I don't know.
But they did it with Matilda as well, didn't they? Matilda and Ronnie, because like.
Yeah, but they
that-
were just friends though, because
Yeah, but
her ex is Bradley Dack, who's married to Olivia
What,
Atwood.
Matilda's? I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
And
the tea.
Ronnie is best friends.
know
with
that,
Fred.
yeah.
Well, I mean, what'd you do?
We're getting the tea here today, Emma. Megan.
Allegedly.
Okay, well, but
it could be completely
But
wrong,
he
but,
made a dig
allegedly.
at Matilda before the final, and sort of like went like, "I'm watching you," and there was a bit of controversy with Ronnie and Matilda, as if to say you've been like on the outside world. You know, I don't know. Did you see that? There was a little
missed
bit of
that.
there's a little bit of because they're both from the same area. There was something was said. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
very
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting indeed. What was I going to say? Sorry, just pause 1 minute. I can't remember what I was going to say. Where was we going to go? Oh, fuck it. We'll just go somewhere else in this.
God, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's where I was going to go. Sorry, right. So obviously you've been on a few love reality shows. Is there love in your life now?
No, I'm so painfully single. Honestly, girl. I think it gets worse with age.
It does.
I don't know how you feel, but I feel like
Yeah.
when I was in my early 20s, like someone beautiful would be enough. And now I'm like, do you make me laugh? Are you a kind person? What do you see in your future? Like, there's so much more to it than someone just being attractive. Which
red flags as well. Like, are you going to cause me depression, anxiety? Like, you know, are you going to give me a trip to a psychotic place or not? Although we like a little you know, drizzle of that. You know, can't be boring.
Crazy.
Yeah, I need somebody to kind of send me for like a day release.
I'm just trying to get to the part where I fancy someone. I don't know what it is.
This is it. I don't know. I go, hello,
irritating.
is everything working? I don't know. But I get you. Like, there was definitely a time in my 20s where it was a good year. You know, it was a good year. Like, the caliber of men that I had in my life, and you know, you dated that person, didn't work out. You went to the next person, and then you might have tried them again, and then you went back to the next person, and then you might have tried somebody else out again. But it didn't come with a head fuckery either. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't come with, and then all of a sudden everything hits you, and then you just go like, okay, I need to switch my life up a little bit. And then you go, are you going to cause me depression? Are you going to cause me anxiety? Are you going to make me smile? You know, ticking all those boxes. It's hard.
I don't even think about that yet. I'm just waiting to get to the stage where I'm like, someone's interested enough to get to like the 4th date and I still find them attractive. There's something going wrong. Either they're like so smart and so driven and so attractive in that way, but physically I'm like, oh my God, it's going to take a few G&Ts for me to want to feel close. There needs to be like a middle ground.
You know, it is hard though. It is. You know, sometimes you just want, sometimes a conversation can literally just find them so attractive, or the drive, or how they hold themselves. You know, there was one person I dated once before, and I was like, oh, everything is good. Oh my God, you're walking on your tiptoes. Like, it was so bad. I couldn't help it. But it is.
But it could
like,
be something so simple.
And then you can't get over it. Oh no, actually I did fall in love with him later on. But then when you broke up, you went, yeah, but he walked on his tiptoes, so that's fine. We got rid of that one. No problem. You caused me heartbreak, but you walk on your tiptoes. I think the generation of dating is just difficult at the moment, full stop, period.
I'm a lot older than probably both of you, but when I was in my 20s to 30s, I had a great time. I really did. And sometimes, I'm in a relationship now, over 25 years. But
how did you do it?
Don't. Yeah.
But the secret.
I did, but I found my soulmate in the end. I mean, sex is important in life. It really is. But having a soulmate and having somebody that's there for you, that supports and trusts you and is there for you, sometimes is just as important as sex. I think we label sex very, very much as a priority, and it is. But I think having
it's definitely in my top 3.
Yeah, it is. But your soulmate. Yeah, but you can have the best sex with somebody, then say goodbye to them and walk away, especially in gay life. But you know, but having that person to wake up with the next day, that is,
I get you.
and you do find that. And I had the 90s were the best times for me. But you're right, Emma, the times have changed with meeting people. It's hard.
You don't have that, you know, and you can find somebody which has all of that, but you just don't want to rip their clothes off. You're just, it's so upsetting.
Yeah, ripping
really
someone's clothes off, you've got to really feel it, haven't you?
Where do
those days gone?
Exactly what you said, Meg. You know, by the 4th day, you know, I will always invest time into somebody up to the 3rd date, but if it's not clicking after the 3rd date, it's hard. There's no point. You can't force something.
But lust is important though, isn't it? Yeah. Lust is different to love, is it?
Yeah, I feel like, but it's so hard. Like, a lot of my best friends are guys that I've either been with in the past, but now we're just like best friends. But it's like, why can't I get that balance of having that person that I really vibe with? And you say like soulmates. I feel even like with straight women, I have that. I'm like, oh my God, you're such a beautiful person. Yeah. Why can't I find you in mouthful and find you attractive? Yeah. Whereas when I was in my early 20s, I was like, he's 6 foot, he's got a 6-pack, like it's fine. Yeah. It's hot. That was enough. But now it's not. That's not enough for me to want to like go to bed with you.
Yeah, it is. I think when you get older as well.
It's kind of annoying. I want to be so simple.
We get more complicated as we get older.
Why am I making it so hard for myself?
How did you meet your partner? Did it just fall?
I was very lucky in love. I was with men, I was with women, I was with women, I was with men. I didn't know what I wanted. And in the end, I found somebody. I went through infatuation thinking I found somebody that I love, and I didn't. And then I was out drinking one night in 1999 in a bar in Islington. and that person walked into my life.
Okay, I believe this. And this is what I'm holding on to. I'm holding on to the fact that the universe will give you something when it's ready.
It does. And I lost his number, funnily enough. I did. And then he found my number
See, the
and rang me.
universe was pulling you back together.
And I was like, he said, you don't want to see me again, do you? And I said, yeah, I do. I'm so glad that you've called me. And I was living
just
in
lost your
Islington
number.
in a little bedsit at the time on my own.
Yeah.
I was 29. I'm 55 now. And I met him, and then I've been with him ever since. We lived in a bedsit together for a year, then we moved into a proper flat together. But you do find them in the end. They do come to you. They do. If you want to meet somebody, you can't force it, but you'll find your soulmate in the end. You will.
That's so lovely.
See, almost going to make me cry, because I truly believe this. And I think at times, sometimes you do get lost and you go like, oh no, I need to find somebody. I'm getting older, blah, blah. And then you like I said, you're trying too hard to make the shoe fit. And sometimes I think, take a beat, just do what you need to do and just keep going. It's gonna come.
You're both beautiful women. You've justified. You've got to meet your soulmate, your person in the end, without a doubt.
Was you looking for it at the time? Was you just on like?
I wanted to be loved, Megan. I wanted to be loved. I wanted somebody to love me. But when the word love is a big word, you know, you can say you love somebody, but love is waking up with somebody the next day, every day for 25 years and putting up with a lot of crap and a lot of shit, but still loving that person and persevering through. That is love. That's real love.
Oh God, here we go. Motivational speeches, everybody.
But that's Love Island, though,
No,
isn't it? That's what we go on Love Island for, to find that soulmate, don't we?
Yeah, and that is, it fast tracks it. I never once thought when I went on that show I would come out with someone that I actually loved. I was like so cynical. I'm like, bear in mind, I worked in a strip club, so I've seen men walk in and they've been the most like stand-up gentlemen, like, oh my God, this is my missus on my background of my phone. Like, isn't she beautiful? 3 drinks in, get your tits. That trying to, like, you know, it's a no touching policy. Like, what are you up to, Bernard? So for me, I was very like, not jaded, but I just had a kind of perception of men. Yeah. So I was very like, it's not going to happen. We'll go in there. My OnlyFans, I'll have more of a following. I'll be in there 2 weeks because I'm basically mute and got no personality. I haven't been to drama school. And that'll be then. I didn't think I'd come out with a 21-year-old that I was in love with. But it's that, you can't escape that person. You wake up with them, you go through that with them, and it does bond you, like how you bonded with your guy. When you're in a bed sit together, it's like...
Well, for a year we did, but living in a bed sit with somebody for a year that you don't really know and making it work, that's got to be... It's like going on holiday with somebody for a year. Yeah.
That's lovely. Do you feel as though that the age difference was the downfall of the relationship?
Or maybe my past. Obviously, I was exposed not to being as famous as I was, but I had, before I stepped in the villa, I had 200,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. So for me, and my whole career was about looks and validation of outside influence. That's how I'd get paid. So to me, it was kind of water off a duck's back. If people liked me or not, obviously it was nice. But I think for him, coming from a really corporate job and then coming out, I was like, oh my God, people are screaming, girls running up to me asking for selfies.
That huge big peak of fandom.
It was different, whereas I was just so obsessed with, oh my God, I'm actually in love. I didn't think I'd ever get this. I was obsessed with that part. So I never took any PAs. I never done any like jobs like that. I was just focused on us. And then obviously he was 21. He wanted to like grind and hustle and do all that. So I get it. And it must have been hard. If you're there as a... I try and think of it, if it was my brother that was in that situation, would you want him to settle down from the girl from Love Island, or would you want him to go and do the club PAs, really experience life? I'm like, yeah, good for him, he done that. I just wish he would have gave me the heads up before.
Yeah, which is maturity in a sense. And I think what I really liked about this Love Island this season, their ages were older. Which made a difference.
The casting was good.
I think maturity is definitely. Now I know you've mentioned OnlyFans, so I didn't know that you had OnlyFans before you went into Love Island.
Yeah.
How did it all come about? And tell us, like I'm so fascinated by it. So I'm just going to dive in with some questions. Like, do you have some really weird requests on there? Like, what sort of stuff? You can obviously say I'm not going to answer that. Like, I get you. But like, how did it start? What sort of photos or videos were you posting to begin with? And like,
So back when I first got it, it was predominantly used for like glamour models to sell personal content, because I think that's just when like FHM, Zoo Magazine, Loaded, all of them just shut down.
Yeah.
So the model then was selling her own pictures and getting all the money. So it's like a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as mainstream as it was during lockdown. So the producers of Love Island was like, what's your social media? I was like, I don't have Twitter, I just have Instagram and OnlyFans. I was like, it's a family show. Bear in mind.
Did you delete it then? Did you actually delete it? Oh, God.
Imagine, I probably would have been a millionaire.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, would have been Jeff Bezos if I kept that.
You would have had that promotion every single. Oh, my God. You'd come home.
Away.
You'd come home and you'd have
but
like
I
that
didn't want to
millionaire.
argue with them. I was just grateful to even be on the show. So, I'm
So
like,
they always have
whatever you
a
say.
photo, a glamour photo, and what people would pay to view that photo, like
So the same as how it works now. So it's like an Instagram, but you'd pay a monthly subscription.
Like exclusive.
So I guess back then, with the little following I had, it was probably less. It's probably like $10-15 a month, and then they would pay extra to see and then unlock like the topless pictures. But that was as far as I went back then.
yeah.
But they was like, no, you need to delete it. So I deleted it. And then I came out and everything got exposed, like in the press. And I would go and do like talks at schools or talks on podcasts and be like, sex work is like the bravest thing you can do. And I never really addressed myself as a sex worker. I'd just say, oh, I'm a glam model or a stripper. But I think where all these headlines like alluded to me being so, it was like Megan's sleazy past or this. I kind of then embraced that and was like, yeah, I am a sex worker. And what? I probably make more than your dad earns, and it's a taxable income. So everyone just calm down. Like, I'm not doing anything that bad. But yeah, I was doing all these talks and I was like, what a hypocrite. So I'm talking about sex work being amazing and empowering, but because I've spent 8 weeks on a Z-list like TV show, I think I'm too big to do it. I was like, no, I'm going to get it back.
Yeah, too right.
So
was there any like contract that you had to sign saying like you couldn't have an OnlyFans? No,
it was just literally they were just like, we don't think it's a good idea if you're going to come on the show. It's a family show for ITV2. Like we wouldn't recommend having it. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever you say.
I think you're very controlled, aren't you?
ITV is though full
very,
stop period. Like because it's even to the point of like there are other shows, X Factor, Britain's Got Talent. Like if you were on the show, you had to be signed.
But you do a 2-hour interview on the phone with the researcher, and you give away everything, and then the next minute you're in the show and it's in the press, and it's like, you bitch.
Oh,
Funny how that came out.
Yeah, when I was in the house, I gave away my life on the phone, and it's like, just tell me what you want to tell me. Don't tell me anymore. But I did, and then come out, and it's all in the press, and I was like, thanks for that.
Yeah, but don't you think they say it in like, oh, we're going to safeguard you. Tell me the worst thing that could be exposed. You're like, okay.
So they're probably the ones that started the freaking headlines.
Of course, yeah.
Because I suppose you didn't, unless they dived into it and they asked you the question, like, would you have said in the get-go, like, oh, this is what I do, sort of thing?
Probably not, because I think it's like if my job was a doctor, I'm not going to go around constantly saying, oh, I think you've got this ailment. I think you've got this. There's more to me than my job role. And that's what I wanted to portray on the show. And that's why I went on it. As someone who's like shy and an introvert, I didn't go on Love Island trying to be famous. I went on there to try and navigate my life away from that sex industry that I'd only been in for a few years at 24.
Best place to show off your actual real personality and for people not to judge you from the book cover, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think because my interview, and like you, when they said like lay everything out, I'm very brutally honest, and I think that's what pigeonholed me into that persona. So even my family watching it, they was like, but you're so geeky sometimes, you say some silly jokes, or I'm like one of the boys, I'll be silly. And that's what me and Wes really like connected over, of just being silly. They never showed that. It was just me. I was very like a 2D character. Like, she's glamorous, she's a man eater, she can get what any man she wants. She's very like sexual. But that's like one part of my personality.
Yeah.
There's a whole other
editing
dimension
of TV shows. Yeah, well that's what they've probably done at the very beginning. The producers like, oh, we're gonna put you down these, and
the
then
thing is,
that's
though,
how they
you
edit
sign
the
up.
video,
You do sign up for it, but you don't regret it, do you?
No, not at all. I don't regret it. I just wish there was a whole 360 of my personality rather than this persona. When you went into Big Brother, did you know what your character was going to be, kind of, or what you had to
I don't think they showed the real Simon. I don't think they did. They made me look very fake and loud, and I was very nervous when I went in there. They blindfolded me, shoved me out the car, and I was on the catwalk. Yeah, they do that.
That sounds horrific.
Well, they do that because they don't want you to see what's going on, and then you're in there. My family were trying to find my family, so me come from an acting background, I went into showbiz mode and very loud. But when I went in the house, everything's stripped, and I found it very emotional. And I lost my dad just before I went into Big Brother in February, and I went in May. The only reality show he said, don't ever do is Big Brother. What did I do? Big Brother. And I mourned my dad in the show. I cried, and they weren't fake tears, they were real tears. And I was it was like therapy being in Big Brother. It was like being
it would be shock therapy.
Was. No, it was. So I think yeah, your question, I don't think they did really show. I think eventually, but I don't think they really did. They had a caricature. They would say, go in there and shout showbiz, shout it again, do it again. And it was like, but I think they're trying to produce a show. It's an entertainment show, as Love Island is. Yeah. They want caricatures. They want people that they can make into a show. And I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think you sign your life away. Yeah, but that's it's what you want to do, Yeah.
Megan, final question. What is in the pipeline for you? Is there any shows, any more dating shows or anything at all? Are you going to stay away from the dating shows, and is there anything else coming?
I feel like I've completed it with the dating shows. I'm done, like, Celebs Go Dating, X on the Beach, Love Island Games. I'm dated out, Darren. I am done. And I feel like the man or the woman I'm looking for is not going to be on reality TV. Yeah. As kind of, I've been on that, but I just think that's not the person I want to be with.
You've done that. You've ticked that level off. Not going to find that there. Is there anything else in the pipeline that we can get excited for? Are we going to see you anywhere at all?
Yeah, so I have a few things coming up. I hate when people
I love
say
it when
that.
people say this on the show. I'm like,
tell you more.
Tell me around it. Tell me around it without telling me it.
So obviously I've had 2 series of my own podcast, which done really, really well. So I think something in the podcast situation might be coming up. And then as I've got older, I'm like so into like mental health and physical health and supplements and stuff like that, and I think we just don't talk about it enough. For ages I was just like, eating healthy, going to the gym, that's going to make your mind healthy, but I've learned so much about like supplements and vitamins, so something around that maybe.
Oh, excited. So this part of the show, we're going to talk about showbiz news. There's a few things in the headlines at the moment. First up, the Strictly scandal. All of a sudden, more and more celebrities are coming out saying that they were being verbally or physically abused by their professional coach. Like, what is
crazy.
going on?
I mean, first of all, Strictly is a homegrown family show, from your elderly grand to a young kid. Everybody loves a bit of Strictly on a Saturday night. It's becoming such a show that people are going to switch off, and I can't watch that. At the end of the day, we've got to remember, Emma, it's a dancing competition where celebrities enter that are not professional dancers. So the professionals expecting them to do, and the demands to be like them, is ridiculous. You've got to remember that.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, the professional dancers, the way for them to get to where they got to in life, they've had to train exceptionally hard.
Absolutely.
And for them, you get pushed through different training regimes. I remember when I used to swim, national standard or whatever at a young age. Like, it was, you was up and you had coaches screaming at you all the time. Even when I remember I was crying and all of this, and I didn't care, kind of but exactly what you said. It is a fun show.
Yeah.
But do you think we're going to see more names coming out? Because at the moment, Zara McDermott's come out.
Yeah, Vanessa Feltz, allegedly, I've read today, of seeing spitting and hitting going on set. That's what I've read, which is just absolutely...
Hitting? Like,
hitting.
as in, like,
well,
tapping the leg to be like, get it in line? Or is it
like...
or
move over there. You move over there now, kind of thing, while in training. She was in Strictly in 2003 or 13, one of the threes. So reading something like that for any celebrity that's obviously being paid to do a show, but having to go through that sort of like torture is not good, and it will make people think.
It's supposed to be a fun reality
it
show. If you
is.
think in comparison, you have I'm a Celebrity around a similar time to that, you know, and that's all fun, and you know that's what you want to see. You want to see celebrities and just their real personality.
I think Strictly's
there you
got a
go.
very cosy thing though for everybody in the family, and I think it's a real shame it's getting this kind of publicity.
I know you mentioned earlier, is it going to be the end of Strictly? I mean, they tried. I loved Jeremy Kyle in the morning. That was the best thing.
Oh,
I used to
yeah.
love staying at home. I watched Jeremy Kyle, and then it was just like, obviously there was like, I think one of the contestants took his own life, and straight away they threw it
Yeah.
back onto Jeremy Kyle, and
Yeah.
that's it. Slice that
Yeah.
show was gone.
I mean,
Like-
like obviously going back to Big Brother, they got rid of Big Brother, they brought it back. Strictly, I think, is it the end of Strictly? I hope it's not the end of Strictly, because I think it's one of the nicest shows on television.
Unless they need to take a hiatus, or
But the dancers are obviously getting frustrated. It's becoming, you know, hard on their schedules to actually get these celebrities up to training. That, you know, it's like...
I think it's just too much of a competition now. I think it's more the professional dancers that want to be winning the competition rather than the celebrities.
Or is it exactly? That's what I was going to say. Is this show now about the dancers and not the celebrities fighting for their own
Yeah,
ego?
well, yeah, could be.
Maybe, or fighting for their position to stay as professionals.
That's it.
If there could be other people to replace them, maybe that's why they're so hard. Because really, for me, I love seeing someone grow. When they start really bad and they're like, oh, she's getting better or he's getting better, that's part of the entertainment. You don't
Yeah.
want someone
Yeah.
to be like punched and kicked
Yeah,
like
at the
be
get-go.
perfect.
Could you
on the
imagine?
two.
You were
Like,
skating, didn't you?
oh no,
Yeah.
my ex did.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Imagine
did.
it, I'd be horrific.
But if someone treated you like that on a show like that...
I'd be off. The skates would be with me. The skates would be around the professional's head if they're spitting at me.
or kicking you, or saying, do it like this.
That is ridiculous. Yeah. I do think I think it's more the professionals, which just they want to win more than the celebrities, and
Yeah.
it just needs to go
Maybe.
bring back the funness
Yeah,
to it.
I agree.
Now moving from love to splits, Maya Jama and Stormzy, they gave it another go and it didn't work out. I think they were so mature in the breakup message. Like, they were just like, look, we love each other. It didn't work out the second time. Nothing's gone on. No one's cheated. It just didn't work, and you can leave us alone. But still, you know, news articles are coming out. Oh, was this it? You know,
Video
Maya
together.
was just like, if we're there talking, it's because we're friends. But people just want drama.
Yeah.
I think with Maya, I think they probably do love each other. I think you've also got to remember her schedule's pretty busy now, isn't it? Her profile has just gone higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
Stormzy has always had a very high profile. Her profile's gone higher and higher and higher. She's busier. Maybe they don't have as much time for each other. They've drifted apart. But I do think they still probably do love each other. I just think, again, it's a real shame that this has had to happen, and I hope they do make it work.
I know they would have made beautiful babies.
Yeah.
I think the whole of the UK were rooting for them
I
to
know.
make it work.
I
weren't
know.
they?
And I think that was it when you saw, like, there was a few little hearsays and all of this. My sister, she was working in hospitality. This is when they broke up the first time. And I think Maya was backstage or something like that. And I think Stormzy was playing at the Brits. And I think it was like that still sort of like volatile, oh, I'm not fucking listening to this bullshit sort of thing about obviously Stormzy.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then you started hearing little trickles like, oh, you know, she went to see him perform like a few years later, and then all of a sudden, full blown, they're back in a relationship. But
Yeah.
sadly,
Yeah. Do you think it's the end though? Do you think it really is the
I
end?
don't know. I like how she said, if you see us chatting at the Brits or anything, let us be. We're still friends. And I
Yeah.
think that was good to get in, because
Yeah.
press do love to make
Drama.
everything like cut and dry, black and white, like you're together, you're not together. And she kind of got in there before, like, if you see us
Great.
chatting, just allow, like, we're friends. It's
yeah,
like-
I agree. I think that's great because it means that if she didn't say that and they were caught talking and stuff like that, people were gonna
back on. Yeah.
you know, they're back on, and there's too much pressure again. You know, so we won't
We'll
know.
see. We'll see.
TBC, or somebody just all of a sudden, Maya finds, oh, who did she shoot with on one of the, you know, the guy that was in 365 days. Oh,
He's beautiful.
Oh.
Do you like him?
Yeah, he's good looking. Yeah, she's good looking.
I
as well.
wouldn't
She'll get
mind
it.
if
Yeah,
you
she's a good-looking
kidnapped
woman.
me and then
Yeah.
threw me into a sex dungeon.
Megan?
And a
I'll
house.
be there, don't worry. Already on the guest list.
Love is Blind UK is finally coming,
Yes.
and it's hosted by Emma and Matt Willis,
Yes.
which is really exciting because I think the US has done about 1 billion series already, and I always thought to myself, oh, you know what? That would be a really good way to see if you could vibe off of them. But would you do something like that?
Mm-mm. I'm sorry. I know I said as I get older, it's more about the personality, but there are lies. There are lies. Like if I was chatting to someone, and imagine investing 3 or 4 weeks talking to someone, and then you go into their flat and it's just literally mess everywhere, like mold growing in cups.
Awful.
I would swivel on my cowboy boots. I'd be out there. No, I wouldn't. I couldn't.
I know. Because I always say sometimes somebody could be. I mean, I dated a 5'8" dad bod guy, but he had the gift of the gab, and he laughed me into bed, and it was just the most amazing experience that I had. So you can do it, and you can get over the height and the looks and all of that. But I think you see them face value. When Love is Blind, you get to know them, you've invested into that, and then all of a sudden it's like the shock and you have to walk towards them. Like, if you don't like them physically, like, how could you hide that? You know, I can't do any more short people. What if they are really, really short?
Sign up for it though, don't they? That's what they're signing up for, so they don't know what they're going to get. So they're going to get it, and it's either going to work or it's not, or it's got to work.
I want the people on the show to be really real though, because I would love it if some girl would be like, oh yeah, I really like him, and then she walks down that aisle to meet him for the first time. She'd be like, fuck, what have I just done?
Yeah.
Like, I want that.
Yeah, why does no one do that?
Why
When them
doesn't
doors
no one do
open, why
that?
they're not like, oh, we got on so great, but
Well, they do a
bloody
bit
hell.
in maths. They do it in Married at First Sight. You've seen a bit of
Oh,
that,
yeah,
though,
you
when
do see a
people
bit
do
of it,
get
yeah.
married, they think, oh,
Yeah,
he's
you
not
do.
really for me, and it's like then you sort of know that it's
I
going
know,
to go
but
that way.
but that's behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I want
true.
it like
in public right
like
away.
as
yeah.
you're walking
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
it,
yeah,
like
that would be
oh
good.
my
Maybe
God,
it will
what the fuck
happen.
have I done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about more dramas and love, I know we talked about this on the last show. Lauren Goodman and Carl Walker. Now they are going through some legal disputes because they've gone to court. I actually think it was for the legitimacy of the second child, but now it's for childcare. And when I say that this girl, and I praise her for it, she's definitely like, well, I'm going to get my money's worth. I have to read you the list. It's incredible. So Carl Walker, the football player, and Lauren Goodman have got 2 kids together. So this is her demands. I think she's already got this for first one. A mansion, which is like 2.4 million. I think she's got that one. Child maintenance, 350,000 a year.
Crazy.
Okay, but he's on a footballer. That's like a
Yeah.
week's.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah,
a couple
but
of
it's
weeks.
just demands
Probably about
though,
a
isn't
month.
it?
You'd say
Yeah.
about a month. Okay, but
Yeah.
still, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Wardrobe, blinds, curtains, sofa, and garden furniture, 120,000. A new Mercedes, 70,000. A nanny, 67,000. A car for the nanny that needs to be renewed every 3 years, 30,000. An air conditioning unit because it's so friggin' hot in the UK, 33,000. AstroTurf because she wants her daughter to become a lioness, 31,000. A furnishing fund, don't know what that is, don't know what that includes, 20 grand. Holiday to Mexico, 8 grand. A cleaner,
Expensive girl.
a cleaner, a grand and a half a month. Hot tub maintenance, 500, and a gardener. I love how she throws in like, oh, I need to have the hot tub maintenance because that's really going to be like child support there. That's mad.
It's crazy.
I think it's brilliant though. I
Yeah.
don't know whether or not it's like she's just going to chuck everything. Do you not remember when Colleen Rooney and Becky Vardy they went to court and Colleen Rooney was just like, oh well, you've just brought me back to court, so therefore you're going to have all of my legal things, and it was just like, oh no, dinner at Nobu and all of this. It like itemized it.
Yeah.
It's mad.
It is mad. It is mad. It's very demanding. I mean, it's just, she's an expensive lady, isn't she? That's all I can say. She wants a good life, you know?
I get it, but then it doesn't really pave her way that well if she wants to be like, no, I really like Carl, and yeah, we've got 2 kids together, blah, 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 blah. Now she's literally like, I set out for you, and now I've got, now I'm just going to rinse you. of everything. But.
She certainly
But
sounds like that to
I
me.
say aim high if that's the case. Aim high and see how much you can get off the back of it. If that's what you want, go in with everything,
She'll get it.
even your hot tub maintenance.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of work to ask for all these things and then have to go to court to fight for it. Surely, in the long run, just do a few like promotional brand deals yourself and pay it for yourself.
Yeah.
And guess what? She's going on Celebs Go Dating, and apparently she's gonna be talking about him on there as well. I mean, that's a woman's scorn. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is a woman's scorn.
It's
Maybe
so
he's been
messy.
saying. Maybe he said more things than he let off. I don't know, but
Does
we'll
he
let
ever
it
comment? I don't really know too much about this. Does he ever comment and speak on it?
yeah. So he basically said we were never together. We never dated. It was just like a couple of flings. He had an operation for his knee. Down in London, and that's where he slept with her for the second time, and she's extremely fertile because she got pregnant again.
Pregnant. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and then had 2 kids.
She's got him under her thumb, hasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, TBC on that one.
Yeah.
And finally, Joey Essex apparently had special treatment in the Love Island. I know we've spoken about him before, but apparently he was having 2 to 3 hours outside of the villa. The producers also provided him with funds to buy flowers for Mimi. And then apparently he was so livid that he wasn't in the final, because apparently that was like a done deal. He was going to be in the final. Do you think this is true that he was getting special treatment?
Potentially, because don't you think with the Sharon Osbourne Big Brother, she had her own quarters, didn't she?
Yeah.
Where she was more.
But
A-list.
look, the difference is with Sharon Osbourne in Big Brother, we saw she had her own quarters, and they've done that before when Sylvester Stallone's Jackie Stallone, you're a jerky, do you remember her? She had her own. I mean, they've done that a lot. I don't think Joey got any special treatment in Love Island. I think he was put in there to do a job. That's my feeling. I think he did a good job. I don't think the people around him in the show, I honestly, if you were there, would you have known your reality savvy? You know, I mean, I'm trying to go about this in the best way possible. He did the job. He was himself. He was good TV, but I think he was there to do his job. I don't think he got any special treatment. No. I don't.
But 100%, he probably got paid more.
Allegedly, he didn't. He did get paid, but not very much money. But the deals that are coming out now, he's going to earn an absolute fortune. But going back to, is that right? Is that what Love Island is about? Should that have happened in Love Island?
When you was on Megan,
It's tacky, isn't
was
it?
it like a set fee that you would get on a month, or is it a week, or is it a day sort of thing?
So when we went in, obviously no one had like a big social media following. I think it was like £150 a week just to cover your bills.
Well, they pay your household.
They pay?
Yeah,
they do pay your rent and shit like that, or no, they don't.
No, that was it. Just flat, whatever your rent is. You could be living in Kensington or in Southend. It's just £150 for everyone.
What? I'd be like, well, I mean, inflation rate now, no one can afford that.
But the thing is, by putting somebody like Joey in Love Island, you know, would the likes of Nicole and Kieran now reading the press and now getting to know what the show was about, how are they going to feel if they thought that he was in there? Or do they think, well, it's Joey Essex? Do they guess he's on a fee, he's going to get special treatment? That's why he's here. Would they be thinking
I
like
think
that?
people wouldn't be
I would
stupid.
just accept
Well,
it.
I would accept it as well.
Yeah.
Joey's got to where he got to, so
Yeah,
therefore, if he
yeah.
got a fee, then fair play to him.
But it
so.
is about finding love at the end of the day.
True.
I feel like one of the other contestants would have come out there and been like bitter about if they got kicked out early and be like, oh, he had like 3 hours to him.
Well,
It
Sam
would have
was.
been like-
Sam was, wasn't he? He had a go at him in the final. The boy that got voted out in the first week when Joey went in.
Oh, yeah.
Sam said, I think Joey and Jess should be dumped. And Joey said, well, you're just being personal because I took your place in week 1.
It wasn't even week 1. He was there for 1 day, wasn't he? That guy.
Sam, yeah. And they
the
brought,
hairdresser.
Yeah, but the
I always
mullet.
thought that he was going to come back.
He did. He was there at the final.
Yeah, I mean,
but
come
yeah,
back
yeah,
on the
yeah,
show.
no. And I think Sam. I do think there is a little bit of animosity and there is a little bit of drama behind the scenes in there. I think there probably is. I think a lot of. I don't know. I'd like to see his popularity with the Islanders now.
Yeah, saying that would be an interesting dynamic, wouldn't it? To see how everyone vibes.
And Jess, I mean, she has wanted to find love in Love Island.
But I think Jess had a bit
Yeah,
of a
bless
firecracker
her.
to her as well. She stood up for herself, so
She
she
did.
wasn't like a typical like.
But Grace stood
Okay.
up for herself as well,
Yeah.
and I actually think Joey does hold quite a light for Grace. I think he does.
He spoke about a hell of a lot, didn't he?
She's a beautiful girl. She's savvy. She's
Stunning.
together.
Yeah.
So this part of the show, we've got a dilemma. I love that. It's so terrible, but we love it. I'm starting that up again. This is shit.
I like the hand.
I couldn't talk myself out of that one. Okay. This is part of the show where we have a dilemma. We have one of the watchers, and they've come in with a dilemma, and we'd love to get your response for this. Okay. So it goes. I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years, and luckily we're still in the honeymoon phase. However, he's got a new job recently, and it requires him to go to the States for a few months, which is absolutely fine, as we are confident that we can still make it work long distance, and it's only temporary. We have a tactile relationship and our sex life is great. I really want to keep that alive while he's away, but I'm really nervous on what to do because the idea of sending nudes scares me a little bit. What tips do you have and what shall I do? Da-da-da.
I feel like a little FaceTime.
Okay.
Maybe like nudes are quite permanent.
Yeah.
If you're like feeling yourself in the moment and then you go back the next day and was like, oh my God, I thought I was like Beyonce just now. And then you're looking back the next morning at work at your desk, you're like, oh my God.
That
I
sudden
was
wave of
doing
like,
the
sudden
most.
wave of like, ooh, do it.
Maybe FaceTime is good because there's no like, unless they
Yeah.
screen record it, but he's your boyfriend, he's not going to. It's in the moment, it's in passing. You can kind of be jokey with it. I think a lot of where people go wrong is they take like sexting and anything sexual very seriously. Like I just joke, like it's funny to just be in the
Have
moment.
fun with it.
Yeah, and don't take it so seriously.
I think sometimes, unless you are a naturally sexy person and they, you know, like you love taking the photos, I think sometimes taking nude photos can kind of make you go like, oh, I feel a bit awkward. Like, how do I get the right angle? Is the right lighting okay? Like, is it looking good down there? So I always think that sending like photos which aren't like full visuals but like kind of seductive, that kind of eggs you on a little bit. But I love a bit of sexting. I think sexting is like a real kind of, and it's fun, and talk about fantasies, and I think that can really keep.
What word? Like words rather than pictures.
Yeah, just
I agree.
talk.
I would find it quite difficult to send pictures
Yeah.
to someone in the States
Yeah, I wouldn't.
of me doing whatever.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be that type. And I think you just have to be that type. Some people don't care, but I personally, I don't. I think texting's good and porn.
I tell you what's a real good one as well is you can get these vibrators now which are Bluetooth, which are like long distance, so your partner can have full control
But
over
I would find that a
making
turn off
you
watching my partner with a dildo if I was in America, feasing himself for me on camera.
Yeah, no,
I
but you
just
don't
would-
need to. No, you don't even need to be on camera. Like, no camera whatsoever. Like, he downloads the app. She has the vibrator. He's still making her come overseas.
Oh, okay. So you're sexting, and then he's got
Yeah,
control
and then all of a
Oh,
sudden,
right,
yeah, you're
okay.
doing
So it doesn't
that.
have-
So you're
Right.
basically having sex, but you're not. And it means that you don't need to be like full frontals anywhere. But then you still have that sort of like, oh my God, wow, you made me
It's
come.
fantasy, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
more fantasy. Yeah, that's interesting.
Love a bit of that.
Yeah,
It's always good.
try it after
that will keep you
25
alive.
years.
Here we go. You've got some new ideas.
Have a cup of tea.
Yeah, you'd be like, I'm just going to go on a little trip.
No, I mean, I think that's great when you again, we have this conversation when you first meet somebody, you want to rip their clothes off, you want to do porn, you want to have threesomes, you want to do everything. You do it or you don't, you do. But you have to keeping sex alive is a really, really big thing. It's a hard thing to do. It is, but I think the texting is quite a nice way.
I
of
love the
doing it.
texting fantasies. Like, oh, what would you love to do right now? Like, if I was there right now, you know, he just kind of eggs it on.
Yeah,
you know?
and also porn, I think, is a good one. I think so many couples or people are like anti-porn, like, oh my God, it's not healthy. And I've said that so many times. Like, when I was younger, there was no one in the media that spoke about like women having sex or pleasuring themselves. So girls would go to porn to see, like, oh, what do I do? How do I like do this or do that? And it was like so backwards and all oriented about like male pleasure. But I think now, if you're with your partner and you're a bit too like shy to take pictures, be like, I just watched this, I thought this was so hot. When you get home, let's recreate this.
Oh my God, love
Like,
that. And then it's like although some people like porn and some people don't like porn, and some people just don't have. I mean, I've never watched porn.
Really?
Like, don't need to. I've got my brain's always away with the fairies. I'd be like, oh yeah, like Sean Connery when he was young, you know, like, and you can fantasize something and you're good. So I think some people's brains are wired differently. Some people need to be like really visual, and some people can be like all up in your head. Like, it's just.
I think porn's a quick fix. I think it's there. A lot of it's free now, which is a good thing. And I think for me, I think it's obtainable. It's quick. And
I need to
there's
start.
so
I
much
think I need
of
to do
it.
some research.
Yeah.
Let me see what you guys are watching. I'm missing out on.
There's just so much of it, and as you say, you can recreate things from watching a good porn.
Okay, well, I'm missing out. I need to like up my.
Go home and scroll.
I need to freaking set up some research. I always thought I was quite good, but anything to add to my skill set, like, I'm all willing to try it out. What's new? What's trending, guys?
But the thing is with you, the couple, if he's in the States and she's in the UK, surely, like, make it last. When he comes back, it's going to be explosive and go away again.
Yeah. It's only going to be for a couple months
Yeah,
anyways.
like, you know, if you love each other enough, then you can make it work.
Yeah. As long as there's no jealousy and you don't need to, like, you're talking great communication, you'll be good.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this month's Getting Lippy. For more social media bits and pieces, follow us on our social media. Until next time, have fun and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.